Hey, 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 welcome into another episode of the Halos in the Infield podcast with your host, Todd Fox. I'm doing a solo episode, as did Fernando the other episode, because of our busy schedules. Fernando's on his way to another state right now. I believe it's New Jersey. Plus, he's doing a move and an upcoming wedding. And then I've just been boggled down with work. So we're trying to get through this and be on the same page, and we'll be there eventually. We're going to have some co-hosts in between, but he couldn't get one last week, and I couldn't get one this week last minute because it was sort of like hit and miss, but with both of us on our schedule. So we apologize, but we'll have something to give you here, some more content, and then we're going to also be back to normal here in a couple of weeks after everything settles down. But for the most part, let's talk about the Halos, which you're here to talk about and listen to. Talk about with others, as I should say. The Angels, we're going to touch on the series that was the New York Mets, which just finished up this evening. And then also we're going to talk about the Dodgers, the big rival series, the two-game series that's set to start on Tuesday and Wednesday at the Chavez Latrine. I hate those bastards with a passion. So we're going to talk about that series. And then also we're going to get into kind of go over the 14-game losing streak a little bit, kind of bring that up and see where this team can go. Because as I brought up on my post-game show, this season has been a book so far. The Angels are writing a story. We've had a few chapters in between the start of the season, the great start, the first place, and everything. The roses are red. Everything is just sunshine and lollipops. And then all of a sudden we hit that skid. That's a new chapter. We lost Joe Madden. There's all kinds of turmoil. And then this next chapter, I believe, is how do we recover with Phil Nevin at the helm right now. So we're going to get into all of that. So we hope you like and subscribe to our YouTube page and check this podcast out and like it. Give us a 5-star. That helps us move up. So wherever you guys can do that, we really appreciate it. Check us also out on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook if you haven't already done so. So with that being said, let's jump into what happened with the Mets and the Angels in that series that was, which started on Friday. The Mets, unfortunately, would get their 39th win of the season, go to 39-21. The Angels would fall 4 games under 500, a season high for them, as they lost to the New York Mets by the score of 7-3. 13 hits surrendered by the Angels starting staff. The Angels had 3 runs on 9 hits. The Mets had 7 runs on, like I said, 13 hits. Lagares went 1 for 5. Ohtani 1 for 4. Anthony Rendon went 0 for 3 in an RBI, or a walk, I'm sorry. Jared Walsh went 2 for 4. The only guy that did something in this game was Brandon Marsh. He went 3 for 4, 2 home runs, and 3 RBIs. The Angels left a lot of guys on base again. My boy Andrew Velasquez, which I say my boy loosely, I've been critical on him because of his slumping, and I'll tell you why in game 2 when I go over that. But in game 1, he went 0 for 4, a couple strikeouts. His defense has been keeping him in the lineup, but for how long? You have Matt Duffy, you have Wade, you have Fletcher on the men at the end of next month, I believe, should be good to go, or should be good to go sometime in July. And then, like I said, you have Renifo knocking on the door as well. The pitching in this game, again, I don't understand it. I've been critical of the 6-man rotation. I want them to get back to a more traditional 5-man rotation. I think that 6-man rotation under Madden was Madden's thing. I think that was a way to stretch out some of these pitchers coming off injury, like a Syndergaard and guys like that. But I think right now you got to stop babying these starting pitchers, and you got to let Diaz, or not Diaz, you got to let these guys roll. Stop bringing up the rookies. I mean, if you want to get them on a spot start to maybe relieve Syndergaard and give him an extra week off or something, that's fine. But I think as far as a 6-man rotation, I think it's useless right now. We saw the experiment with Silseth. He's there. He's got the stuff to be a major league pitcher, but he needs a little bit more grooming down in the minor leagues. And I think Diaz is just about there. He's getting close. But again, it's not a guy I want to see start every 6 games just yet. And he proved it in this game. He only went inning and 2/3. He didn't even throw that many pitches. But Nevin had a quick hook. Nevin's more of a old school guy. He's not going to do that with his main guys, but he's going to do that with the rookies. He's going to make them prove themselves. Diaz surrendered 3 runs on 5 hits, 2 walks, and a strikeout, but he did throw a lot of pitches. Archie Bradley came in, pitched an inning and a third, scoreless. Andrew Wantz got lit up a little bit. He gave up 3 runs, and then Jaime Barry gave up 2 runs in 3 2/3. He did really nice relief. I think Jaime's another guy that could be a spot starter, but I don't know if the Angels want to go with him moving forward. But as you look at it, the Angels lost this game 7-3, giving up 1 run in the fourth and 3 in the sixth. So the Angels would drop that one, and then we would fast forward to game 2, which was on Saturday, which again was yesterday and was real fun. The Angels broke out the City Connect jerseys, and they looked really good in doing so. The Angels scored 2 runs in the first inning, proceeded to get another in the third, 2 more in the fifth, 3 more in the sixth to go up 8-0 before the Mets even got on the board. And then it was 9-1. After that, they just scored a run in the bottom of seventh, and then they got 2 more in the eighth and won that game going away before the Mets got 4 garbage runs, 11-6. Angels did have 3 errors, 11 runs and 15 hits, 6 runs and 10 hits for the Mets. For the Angels in this game, Brandon Marsh went 2 for he had 2 walks, 0 for 3, but he scored 2 runs. Mike Trout hit 2 home runs in the game, 3 RBIs. Tyler Wade went 1 for 1. Shohei Ohtani hit a solo blast and had 3 RBIs, 3 for 4. So the 2 guys that could carry a team by themselves showed you why they're superstars. They both went 3 for 4 and had 3 RBIs. That could have been good enough for a win, or at least a tie right there. And then you had Rendon getting a hit. But the big story of the game in this one was Jared Walsh going 4 for 5, getting his first career cycle, 3 RBIs, a home run, single, double, and triple. That's how you get it. So he went 4 for 5 in this game. Max Stassi went 1 for 4. Lagares, a disappointing 0 for 4. Renifo, 1 for 4. And Velasquez, 1 for 4 in this game as well. Now, again, he had a home run in this game. The game prior to this, or prior to the Mets series, he had a 3-run homer, right? That was the difference in breaking that snap against the streak against Boston. I bring that up because prior to that, he was 1 for 34. And he hit a home run, and he pointed to his dugout like, I'm the man, or that's me. You know what I mean? That's, to me, again, I stressed it on the post game. I love when guys celebrate. I think charisma, celebration is part of the game. It should be celebrated and should be not looked down upon like it used to be, like an unwritten rule. I think it's good to let the kids play, quote unquote. But I do not like the fact that he's showboating for a guy who was 1 for 34. You're 1 for 34, God damn it. You're not in a hitting streak where you're like, oh, he's hot. He's 5 for 9 right now. He's tearing it up. Or he's 6 for 11 and he's killing the ball. No, you're 1 for 34. Just circle the bases, celebrate when you get in the dugout. You know what I mean? Put the hat on when you get in the dugout. To me, I thought that was I would have talked to him if I was a hitting coach, but we don't have a hitting coach because as we talk about on this show all the time, Jeremy Reed is a Pokemon master. He doesn't pay attention, although I'll get to what he did in the next game. And Paul Serrano's fat ass is finally, since I might as well get to it now, both of these guys who've been doing nothing at all for this team on the bench or anything else like that, they are finally starting to do something as far as you're actually seeing Serrano stand up. He's not sitting on his fat ass the entire game because Phil Nevin's there now. He's a no-nonsense manager. And then you have Jeremy Reed, who's actually showing guys how to use a tablet to check out scouting reports and what they did right or wrong, which I hadn't seen all season up until the last couple games. I saw it on ESPN tonight, and I saw it on a couple other telecasts since Phil Nevin has took over, because those guys have been the useless hitting coaches of all time, and they are pathetic. Michael Lorenzen pitched really good in those new City Connect jerseys, which are top-notch in my opinion. They look beautiful. He pitched 6 1/3, 6 hits, allowed 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts. Aaron Loop struggled again, but he got through it. He pitched 2/3. Ortega gave 3 runs late, was only charged for 3. He really gave 4 runs in this one. Or he gave 1 earned run, I'm sorry, on 3 hits in 2 innings, but he should have been charged for 4 runs. I think it was errors that allowed the other runs to score. So, with that being said, the Angels would win their second game for Phil Nevin, which was nice. After Ohtani had got the win, they were 2-2 under Phil Nevin. As we switched over to now the game with, as I get over here to the stats, which was today. The Angels offense went back to playing crappy. The Mets would get their 40th win of the season to go to 40-22, best in the National League East, while the Angels dropped again 4 games under, 29-33. The Angels are now sitting 3.5 back of Boston for the wild card, and they are also now 9 games back of the Houston, I was going to say Rockets, the Houston Astros right now. The Angels have a lot. I don't see them catching the Astros. I'll just be honest with you, but I do see this team getting fire at some point and getting into the postseason as a wild card. I'm hoping not the last wild card, but I hope they get in there as a strong wild card because this team has too much talent to be floundering. And I think that Phil Nevin is, with more and more batting practice, helping these guys out. I think the offense is going to come through. The pitching has been there all season. They've had a couple dust ups to where they've allowed some runs to score, but for the most part, you had a game like today where you give up only 4 runs. Yes, the Mets had 11 hits, but you only give up 4 runs. That should be enough to keep you in ball games, and it was for the most part, and enough for a team like this to score 5 runs and get a W. But we have not seen come from behind victories with this team. We've not seen any consistent hitting with this team. I think that at some point they're going to have to make a decision on second base and shortstop, whether it's via trade or through the organization, when either Fletcher gets back or Stefanik comes up, or they're going to have to go outside to get some power right there. They're going to have to get a backup catcher because the catching position outside of Stassi, which he can't play every day, has been a problem. Suzuki's terrible, god-awful. And, what are we going to do with Adele? There's a lot of question marks right now. And I think this is a chapter of how are we going to get through this, because this is an important part in the Angels season. Now, as we look what happened on Sunday Night Baseball, the Angels continued their lackluster performances on prime time or on Game of the Week. The only Game of the Week we've won this year is against the Chicago White Sox, and we barely won that game on a Saturday. We've lost every other primetime game, whether it's Google TV or whatever the hell it is, which is those terrible broadcasts anyway. The Mets scored. Well, the Angels scored first, which usually when they score first, they win, like the night before, but they scored first, gave up the lead in the third, gave up another run in the fourth, and then a run in garbage time in 7th and in the 9th. In this game, though, however, I'm going to give it up to another guy who's being overlooked by the Angels fans. A lot of people talk when they talk starting pitching, it's always Ohtani, Syndergaard, and Lorenzen. But the real star on this team that has been pitching good, even in a loss like he did today, was Patrick Sandoval. You really can't blame the guy. 2 runs on 8 hits. Yes, sometimes he gives up some hits to allow traffic on the bases, but for the most part, this season he's pitched out of jams, and he's pitched really good. He's only had 1 stinker. He had 8 strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 earned runs, 8 hits allowed. He did throw about 100 pitches, but he pitched a solid, good enough to win start. But Aaron Loop surrendered a earned run in the 7th inning, 2/3 pitch for him. And then Archie Bradley pitched a third of an inning. He gave up that hit. Ryan Tepera, another outstanding performance for him. An inning with strikeout, no runs, no hits. But Raciel Iglesias continues to struggle, especially in opportunities that are non-save. And he's had some save situations that are bad right now, too. Raciel Iglesias gave up a solo shot tonight, and he unfortunately has a ERA of 4.64 right now. He's 1-4. He's not pitching like he did last season. That's for damn sure. In this game, Brandon Marsh had 2 more hits at the leadoff spot, so that's encouraging. We want to see him I've been saying it since day one. If he can hit and stay consistent, lay out those high strikes, this guy could be your prototypical leadoff guy for right now. Mike Trout went 1-for-4. He did get an RBI in this one early on. Rendon, that's after Marsh had doubled. Rendon got a walk. That's it. Jared Walsh had a hit today coming off the cycle. 2 more hits for Matt Duffy, who's been playing really good. They moved him to that 5 spot. Another albatross in the lineup, Juan Lagares. I think it's time to give up on the Lagares situation, and I think we need to go another route because, if it wasn't for Adele not being in the Angels' favor, I'm pretty sure Lagares would have been DFA'd. He has no more options left, so it's not like we can send him down. Then another guy who sucks complete ass is Kurt Suzuki. I'm tired of this guy. I really want to see Theis up here or Wallach. Somebody else. Just give me somebody else other than Kurt Suzuki. I can't stand this guy. He's trash. Tyler Wade, I've been disappointed in because as much as he can drop down a bunt, look really good, and get a couple hits and maybe hit a home run. He'll come out with a game like today where he misplayed a ball that cost us a run and extended an inning in center field. He's done it in right field. He's done it at second base, and then or he'll get thrown out, which is my favorite. He's like the one angel besides Otani that gets thrown out all the freaking time. He gets thrown out, picked off, everything. He's always in some sort of challenged or where the Angels lose, and he always has that dumb look on his face. And then he puts up an 0 for 3 as well. So not only did he cost us a run, he did absolutely dog shit tonight. And speaking of dog shit, Andrew Velasquez, 0 for 2 again. So again, you're, I say 3 for 40 now. So you want to pump your chest again. You want to have those cocky looks. And guess what, Andrew Velasquez? In the last 5 games, you've had 3 errors. So that squid defense isn't exactly working. Are we going to dress up like him again? Look, I'm critical of the guy until he starts hitting. I really want every Angel to be good, but I know right now it's not going to happen. And we have, unfortunately, the bottom of the lineup today went 0 for 14. They looked pitiful. The 6 through 9 look pitiful. That's got to change via trade or through the organization, because we can't have the 6 through 9 hitters being just absolutely dog shit. Let's see. So Patrick Sandoval's numbers for Sunday Night Baseball's game was, like I said, 6 innings pitched. He did a good job, good enough to get a quality start win, but didn't work that way. So with that being said, I want to get into what has happened and transpired since the Angels were 27-17, which was, I think, the last game. It was, if I'm not mistaken, I should say, yes, it was the first game of the Rangers, or first game of the Rangers season or series. It was a 2-game series at Anaheim Stadium. The Angels were 27-17 versus the Texas Rangers, who are 18-23. They won that game 5-3. They proceeded to lose the next night 7-2. They played the Blue Jays, lost 6-3. Played the Blue Jays again, lost 4-3. That's another 1-run game. Blue Jays beat them 6-5. They lose 11-10. So 3 of the 4 games against the Blue Jays, they lost by 1 run and could have won any of those, including the 6-3 game, which was put away late. Now the Yankees series is a different story. They got pounded 9-1. They could have lost that one 19-1. They lost the next game 6-1. They were kind of in that game, but let it go late. The game they should have won was the Thursday finale in New York, where they lost 2-1. They left a bunch of they had a bunch of opportunities to take the lead in that one. The Phillies fired Joe Girardi when they went to Philly, and the Angels got blown out 10-0. They were never really in that game at all. The second game, same thing, 7-2. Phillies get an easy win. The finale, they should have won, but the bullpen blew that one in the 9th inning, 9-7. And then against the Red Sox, they should have won the first game. They lost 1-0. They lost 6-5 to the Red Sox on Tuesday, which got Madden fired. And then they got in. They pretty much brought along Phil Nevin in his first game. They should have won, but for the second time in that series, they lost 1-0. And then they beat the Red Sox finally 5-2 on that 3-run homer by Squid. It was a difference. And then we just went over the Mets series here. So far in 5 games, the Angels are 2-3 under Phil Nevin, interim coach. We are seeing differences in the way they've played and how way he calls games, and also utilizes the bullpen a little bit of different in the lineup, but not too much per se right now. With that, with the way Nevin does things, accordingly, a little bit different than what Joe Madden did is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I got tongue twisted right there. Let's see. I'm going to put up starting rotations here for the rotation here, projections here, MLB starting rotations here. For let's see, for the Dodgers series and Angels, I want to get you that rotation starting here. Let's see, hold on a second here. The Dodgers will be throwing. Oh, let's see, hold on. No, the predictions right here. Starting rotation predictions. Weekly. All right. Let's get into that. All right. So the next 7 days here, we got the games up here for the Dodgers. Sorry for bearing with me right there. So it's going to be for the Angels. They're going to throw Noah Syndergaard versus Tony Gosselin. Gosselin is 7-0. Syndergaard's 4-4. He's been sometimes really, really good, sometimes really bad. And you got Reed Detmers, who like those last two starts, like after a couple starts after the no hitter, he was really bad. Couldn't get it out of the fifth inning. But the last couple starts, he's pitched good enough to win. He pitched good enough in New York, and he pitched, I think, good enough in Boston or against Boston. He's 2-2. Reed Detmers will be going up against Anderson, who's also 7-0. So the Dodgers have two pitchers who are highly overrated 7-0 because of their hot hitting streak and because of the fact that they've played a lot of no-name teams. And a lot of teams take Bueller, Kershaw, and Urinal Cake Urias seriously, but not these two numbnuts here who have gotten the credit. I mean, they're good pitchers, but they faced whack lineups or bad teams or, fourth and fifth starters for other teams. So that just goes to show you the Dodgers are stacked. I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, Dodgers suck." I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to tell you how it is. And unfortunately, the Dodgers have a freaking good team. I hate saying it because I hate them as, in all actuality, I can't stand the Dodgers for anything. But the truth of the matter is, I mean, since they played the easy ass Diamondbacks and swept them, the Dodgers lost 6-5 to the Pirates on May 30th. They lost 5-3 to the Pirates on May 31st. They lost 8-4 to the Pirates on June 1st. They did beat the Mets 2-0. They beat the Mets 6-1 on June 2nd and 3rd. But then the Mets would get them back and beat them twice. Saturday 9-4, then 5-4. They would beat the White Sox, would then beat them to extend their losing streak to 3 before the Dodgers would win the final two games against Chicago 4-1 and 11-9. Before the Giants would beat them 7-2 on Friday, June 10th, and then also on June 11th, 3-2, and then today they beat them 2-0. So currently they're on a 3-game losing streak. They've scuffled a bit in their last 10 games. We're going to look at them right now as we go down with the standings here. Well, first, in the standings for the Dodgers. Dodgers are now 4-6 in their last 10. They're 37-23, a half-game lead on the Padres and 3.5 on the Giants. So they've come back to the pack a little bit right here. And as you look at the standings for the American League for our Angels are, like I said, 29-33, 9 games back, unfortunately, 2-8 in their last 10, but that's because they had that big ass losing streak. You look at it right now, the Angels are sitting there, a couple games back. We're now in third place. The Rangers have moved ahead of us, which is kind of scary. Mariners are only a game back of the Angels, so we're in a tough spot. We put ourselves in a spot to where the Mariners are starting to play a little bit better, won 6 out of their last 10. The Rangers have scuffled a little bit, but although they've scuffled, they're right there. Also, the Astros have scuffled. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Let's look at the Dodgers lineup, though. I want to show you what I'm talking about as far as their stats here. We're going to get into their stats in a second because they're not exactly tearing the cover off the ball. Obviously, they've lost some games and stuff like that. But we're going to look at their overall stats here with their lineup here. Mookie Betts will be your leadoff guy. He's got 16 homers, 39 RBIs. Remember, he started the season really, really slow. He's got 13 doubles coming in. He's now batting 278. He's gotten hot lately, but he does have 44 strikeouts. So he does strike out quite a bit. He's got 27 walks, though, so he can get on base other ways. Only 6 stolen bases right now. Cody Bellinger, which is again, he's a sucky ass hitter, high all the time, like that matters, but still, he's had 66 strikeouts already, second on the highest on the team. He's batting just 207. He's only got 7 home runs and 23 RBIs. He's not living up to his potential at all. Edwin Rios is got 7 home runs, 17 RBIs. His strikeouts are kind of low, but he's only batting 244. So what I'm trying to show you is for the lineup the Dodgers got, they're not getting the production like they thought they were. Now, a guy that I'm kind of disappointed in, I thought he would have a breakout year this year, is Will Smith, the catcher. I'm glad. Well, I'm not disappointed in this fact of, oh, I wish he was doing better. I just thought that he would be better at the time. I hate the Dodgers. I'm glad they're sucking right now because they were talked up about being the constant World Series team. When you got the Atlanta Braves, the world champions, on an 11 game streak that looked way more impressive with far less talent than the Dodgers have, just like they were last year. I'm tired of making excuses or having people make excuses for this team. High on base percentage though for Will Smith, although he's only batting 248. His on base percentage is 352. Trey Turner, a guy I'd like to see in Angels red next year. He's doing his normal Trey Turner type things. He's not going to kill you with his power, but he gets a lot of doubles. He's got he's got 14, but he makes the most of it. He hits with runners in scoring position. He's got a 351 on base percentage. He's batting 298, 7 home runs and 46 RBIs. That's freaking solid. I like the guy a lot. He's got 20 walks as well. He's a free agent, but I'm pretty sure the Dodgers will pony up and get him back, which sucks. But as a shortstop for the Angels, I would love to see Trey Turner play alongside his old buddy, Anthony Rendon. Another guy who I thought that was going to go to the Angels and I thought maybe had a chance, but I'm glad we didn't get him, is Chris Taylor. He's batting just 255. He strikes out a lot. He's actually leading the Dodgers with strikeouts. He's not as clutch as he was last year. Seems like he's one of those guys that gets a fat contract and can't live up to it. He's only got 6 home runs, 25 RBIs, 74 strikeouts, 24 walks, though. He does have a good eye at times. Even though he strikes out, he can get on base. He's still got a decent on base percentage of 338. So I still like that in a way, but he does leave a lot out on the field. Freddie Freeman is not having not having a really crushing season with the Dodgers as I thought he would. Freddie Freeman in 60 games so far has 5 home runs, 34 RBIs. So the power isn't there, but he's still driving in runs. He's got 21 doubles to lead the Dodgers, so he is a doubles machine right now. And he also has what is an on base percentage of 368, which is fairly good. The other 4 guys I've just named have the highest on base percentage, along with Betts. So they do get on base. 29 walks, leads the team as well. So he's constantly given a good at bat. So in the strikeouts or whatever, that 41. Austin Barnes, I'm not going to get into him. Max Muncy's another guy who's sucking ass, which I love to see because he's a cocky son of a bitch and I can't stand him. Max Muncy has 4 home runs somehow and 19 RBIs somehow, but he has 41 strikeouts in limited time play, and he's only batting 156, which I'm very happy with. Justin Turner's another dickhead I don't like. I'm glad that he's batting just 213 for the first time in a long time. That redheaded stepchild is finally having problems at the plate. He talk about a guy who fell into the right situation with the Dodgers and became a star for a few years, and a guy that I could not stand watching in the postseason. But yeah, he is batting just 213. He struck out 41 times. He does give it. He's a hard guy to get out, but he could be getting out this year for the first time in a long time, because usually he would work at bats and be a very difficult guy to strike out or get out. He'd always come up clutch, but not this year. You're only batting 213, asshole. And Gavin Lux, though, is finally coming through for the Dodgers, getting some playing time because these guys have sucked so bad. He's got 2 home runs, 14 RBIs. He's batting 296. You got to watch out for his left-handed bat. If Gavin Lux is getting hits, you're in trouble. I'm not going to go through the rest of the team, but you get where I'm going with this. Is that you don't have too many guys that are really tearing the cover off the ball of the Dodgers. They're having to rely on their pitching again, which their pitching is very solid again, but they are having some bullpen problems. Walker Buehler could be out sometime now. He's got an injury, which is elbow related, and it could be inflammation. You could be saying the dreaded, the T word, the TJ word, Tommy John. He's at actually a 4.02 ERA, which is the highest he's ever had as a starting pitcher for the Dodgers, which is crazy. A lot of pitchers would take that in a heartbeat, but that's the highest one. And then you got good old urinal cake, the useless piece of shit left-hander that beats women. He's 3-6 with a 2.80 ERA in 12 games started. The ERA is good, but he's got 6 losses, which I'm very happy because he was a product of the Dodgers doing everything right and him not having to face too many good pitchers last year. And he actually won 20 games. That urinal cake does not deserve 20 wins. Tyler Anderson 7-0. I can't talk too much shit about him other than the fact that he's got 3 ERA. He's had very good run support. The guy I can't talk any shit about is Tony Gosselin. Tony Gosselin is 7-0 with a 1.58 ERA. Like I said, he's going to be facing Syndergaard. I'm thinking the Angels will toss a loss on one of those two guys. So I'm predicting a split with the Dodgers, and the Angels will toss a loss on one of those dudes. But Gosselin's been a workhorse. And just look at these ERAs. I mean, you can't, as much as I hate the Dodgers, you can't really hate on their pitching has always been outstanding. They had Rich Honeycutt for years, which kept this team together. And then now you have Mark Pryor, who's doing a good job. Again, you have 7-0, 7-0. The next starter is Clayton Kershaw, and he's just 4-1 with a 2.12 ERA. So I know he hasn't pitched a lot. He's only pitched 34 innings, but that's still pretty damn good. Evan Phillips is 1-2 with a 2.19 ERA and 24 innings pitched. They've gone with Mitch White, who's 1-1 with a 3.82 ERA. Daniel Hudson, former Angel, former everything. He's 2-3 out of the bullpen, 2.66 ERA. Craig Kimbrell, their big acquisition as far as a closer, has not lived up to the hype, just like Iglesias. Iglesias has a 4 ERA. So does Craig Kimbrell. So the two closers can be gotten at some point. A guy from the past, a blast from the past, David Price, is out there with a 4 ERA in relief. It's hard to believe that dude is a relief pitcher. I thought he would have left the Dodgers to try to start again, but not so much. He's in that mop-up role for the Dodgers. But that's enough of the Dodgers breakdown right there. Like I said, I'm going to get into this one. I like the Angels to split the series with the Dodgers to either hang a loss on Gosselin or the other dude. I really like the Angels because they play really good. I mean, I would like them to win both, and that'd be a nice little start to get them hopefully in the right direction. But I just don't see it right now. Again, whenever they played Chavez Ravine, even though they played Dodgers good, that's a hard place to win a lot of games, and especially to get a sweep, whether it's a 2-game or a 3-game series, which it normally is. Because what I don't like what the schedule makers do for the baseball is they give the Angels a 4 games with the Dodgers like they did this year, and they put 2 in the middle of the week and 2 in the middle of the week for the both series. I guess I don't know for what reason, but both series where the Dodgers and Angels will be played in midweek form, and then next year we'll be back to 2 weekend series, one Dodgers and one Angels. So it's a little weird how they do that. It's every other year. We're either during the week or we're on the weekend. Some people say it's to keep down the violence because there's violence when the Angels play the Dodgers in spring training, and especially at the Big A for that Freeway Series or at Dodger Stadium. So after the 2 games with the Dodgers, we'll wrap this up here. After the 2 games with the Dodgers, they get the Mariners for 5. Yes, 5. They will play a doubleheader because, again, we lost 6 games in the first week, 2 weeks of the season. So we're got to make those up. So that's how we're going to do it. This will be game 2 of the doubleheaders remade. We played one doubleheader up in Oakland and actually got a sweep up there. So the Mariners now, this series didn't count much before the losing streak because they were way in our rear view mirror. But since losing all those games, the Mariners are just a game out. So we got them for 5 games. We could either clean up right here in this stretch, although they're playing much better. And then we got the Royals for 3, which this team right now, the Royals, is getting beat by teams like Baltimore. They have slid down to about last place in their division. They used to be real. I mean, I picked them to finish 3rd possibly. And they are just not showing up under Mike Matheny like I thought they were. They played really good towards the end of last season, and I would thought they would carry that over. So after that Royals series, then they have 3 more with the Mariners. So you have 8 games in 11 days or 8 games in 12 days against the Mariners. And then you got the Chicago White Sox who knows? Tony La Russa might be the next guy to get the axe for as a major league manager because of their inability to play good. So those 3 games will close out June, I'm sorry. And then you have the series that counts. If the Angels can get any of these games, make up any ground coming up in the next couple weeks, because then you have the Houston Astros for 3. Will that series matter, or will the Astros be up double digits and it just won't matter at that point? That's the big question. Can this team get back into contention? If we're about 6 games out, if we trim that lead down to 6 by that time, or maybe even 5, that series with Houston looms very large, because you can completely get back into the division race, winning 2 out of 3 with the Astros, or sweeping. So we're gonna have to see how things go. We really will. This is gonna be a different. It could be one of two things. Like I said, it could be a series where we're just trying to keep pace with a wild card, not worry about Houston, or we could be worrying about Houston right there. So some interesting games to come up. And I think what it is, when I talked about chapters in Angels baseball season 2022, I talked about the first chapter being the great start, and everyone's thinking that this team is playoff bound like nothing, like betting their house on it. And that 14-game losing streak, however it happened with all those one-run losses and stuff, they could have changed if they could have got a bounce here, bounce there, a home run here, a home run there, a drive in, a run here, that whole 14-game losing streak changes. But they couldn't get it done. They got in their own way, and then now they're 2 and 2 and 3 in their last 5. So you've lost 16 out of 19. So they really need to turn around here and get back in the wild card. Like they're right there for the wild card, but I think teams like the Boston, that's right there at the end of that division, which they got to deal with Tampa, Toronto, New York, who are much stronger than they are. Or they're going to hang some losses on them. And it's a good opportunity for the Angels to win these games upcoming, hopefully turn things around, get in a groove, and jump them for the wild card, and then see what happens with the division later on. But right now, the division looks like a pipe dream. The Angels just got to focus one game at a time. And I think their first goal has got to be get to 500 and stay above it. And once you do that, win series as you're going along. If you're winning series, you get above 500 easily, and then you'll see where you're where you're at with the playoffs. So that's everything up to date. This is a solo show. It's a light show, because there's not, I don't have a co-host. Next time we will, and we'll have things together and have a better episode for you. So hopefully you guys endured and I gave you enough information. The Angels heading out to Los Doyers, and let's see if we could steal at least one or beat them in both. That'd be freaking amazing. Fuck the Dodgers. Go Angels, and go Halos in the infield. Check us out the next time you get a chance, will you?